Russia is mocking, the U.S. Lithuanian defense minister tells Euronews. Lithuanian Defense Minister Dovilė Šakalienė has accused Russia of mocking the U.S. government over the Kremlin's refusal to engage meaningfully in ceasefire talks. She warns that instead of being pressured into ending the war, the Kremlin is pushing forward with mobilizing 1.5 million students by the end of the year. In my opinion, they already mocked the American government. They are showing disrespect to any effort to reach an agreement, she told Euronews. Šakalienė also said Russia has not been put under pressure by the U.S. obliging them to make concessions or cease its military campaign against Ukrainian civilians and civilian infrastructure. On the other hand, why should they stop their attacks? They have really transformed their economy to a wartime economy. They are moving very fast with their armed forces reform to have 1.5 million soldiers by end of the year. Minister Šakalienė was speaking to reporters during a NATO military exercise, this year's Iron Wolf, alluding to a creature from Lithuanian mythology, which included a simulated counteroffensive featuring German tanks and Lithuanian infantry fighting vehicles. The exercise also included an air assault operation, including paratroopers drop-offs, as part of the US-led exercise, Swift Response. 6 NATO allies were involved in the paratrooper exercise, including the US, Germany, Italy, France, and the Netherlands. The point of the exercise is to evaluate NATO's readiness to conduct military operations in the event of an invasion by Russia into NATO territory, in particular the Baltic countries, former Soviet republics. Worthwhile efforts by US but military muscle only deterrent. Šakalienė believes there is no incentive for Russia to stop its campaign in Ukraine, as well as its imperialistic ambitions across Europe, which the minister said is further strengthened by the Kremlin's collaboration with North Korea, Iran, and China. Russia's military industry is really gaining speed. They are still moving forward in Ukraine. Why should they stop? The minister was responding to questions about the failed attempt at peace talks in Turkey when Putin refused to show up and sent a delegation headed by presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky to meet with the Ukrainian delegation. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky went to Ankara to meet President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He said he was willing to travel to Istanbul but only if Putin showed up. So currently what I see is basically a mocking game. I don't think it's going to lead us anywhere, she said. Šakalienė called the efforts to stop the war worthwhile, but ultimately, the only way to end the war in Ukraine was through military means. I think the efforts by the US to stop this war are worthwhile. We'll see how that ends, but in my opinion, in the end, what is going to be the only efficient means is regenerating the Ukrainian army and building military muscle in Europe. That's the only deterrent. NATO defense ministers will meet in Brussels next week, when the United Kingdom and Germany convene the Ukraine Defense Contact Group at NATO HQ.